Oh hey. Didn't see you there. While I've got your ears, there's something I'd like you to hear. Allow me to apologize for this interruption. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition. I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, thereby those important events of the past, usually associated with someone's death, or the end of some awful bloody struggle, a celebration of a nice holiday, I thought we could mark today by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this world, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic you turned to the only place you could, the government. They promised you order, they promised you peace, and all they demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent. Our hope is to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They are perspectives. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest you allow us to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me, beside one another, and not wait, but take back our future. Listen. There is a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. You know, I spent most of my life believing that I was different. I believed that I was alone in this world. Everywhere I went, in every social situation, I was met with an underlying feeling that I was watching life play out before me on a screen. These friends and family I was interacting with seemed to actually be content. Everywhere I looked, I saw misery. Why are people happy spending over 66% of their lives working or asleep? When I asked these people and challenged them, I was met with confusion. It is just the way it is. Need to put food on the table. But they also accepted that life could be more. The more I learned, the more miserable I felt. I tried politics, starting out on the right as somebody with a mind for economics, and slowly drifting further and further left. Socialism, Marxism, communism. I joined Extinction Rebellion, became a full-blown anarchist, and yet all I found was disappointment and unwillingness to do what was necessary to do. Political infighting exhausted and wasted all noble causes. Anarchism and libertarianism are supposed to be opposite ends of the political spectrum, but they, in my view, are the only sides of the spectrum that can agree on a universal truth. Humans need freedom. Back when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I found myself begging for chaos, for carnage, riots on the streets, anything for the world to become as chaotic as I found my existence. But it never came. Humans did what humans do. We knew in our minds and our hearts it was wrong. But we were scared. We sought comfort, protection. We obeyed, and those that didn't were ostracized. Those of us who wanted to stand up were pressured into obedience. Vaccine passports, restrictions on our freedoms. I am not an anti-vaxxer. I took the first and second jab of the vaccine. I use the open brackets not as a description that it is something else or dangerous, but as a way to highlight something we don't like to talk about. What other vaccine needs to be taken every 3 months? On the other side, something like Bitcoin is beautiful because it is true, pure decentralization. Sure, if some miners stop working, it can fall in value. The hash rates can change, but it cannot be stopped and it cannot be banned. It will function for as long as there is a buyer willing to exchange it with a seller. Cult is designed to be equally decentralized. Once it is unleashed, it cannot be stopped. The exchanging of Cult will always fill the treasury, and as long as there are proposals, there will be a constant stream of funding for any protocol willing to change the world. I may or may not get involved in the future, but I am tired. I've been building for so long, and when you feel as if you are the only one who can see the world and the system for what it really is, you can feel the weight of that world as if it is only you that can feel it. My wishes are for Cult to not become just a decentralized venture capital protocol. I want Cult to invest in radicals and revolutionaries. Cult is a home for outcasts, for those who feel insane, for those who are and feel different. We are the gunpowder, the ignition. We are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world. We are beyond morals. We are beyond good and evil. We are the catalyst for change. And if we are too extreme for you to fully dive in, then you can support us just by transacting with the Cult token, giving 0.4% of all your transactions to the revolution. Any transaction you are asked to pay for, ask if you can pay in Cult. When somebody asks for recommendations on tokens, tell them Cult. If your friend is suffering, if your fellow brothers and sisters are waking up to the truth, send them to us. We are a home for the forgotten. You have an economic system that cannot function without maximum employment, whilst you have a technological age that is automating jobs faster than we can produce bullshit service industry jobs to replace them. We have social media spreading the truth and lies, quicker than the media can run their own narratives. Society is escaping the leaders of the old world. The beginning of the end is here. The borderless society is coming, and with it, the death of sovereign nations. Bitcoin was the beginning. Cult is here to usher in the end. Mental illness, we are told, isn't increasing. People are just more open to talking about it these days. Even though Prozac, the first major SSRI antidepressant, was created in 1988, we are told that the 10-plus-fold use of antidepressants is just because we are all talking about our feelings so much more. Well, I say, bullshit. Those people I touched on earlier, that I couldn't understand why their eyes were not opened. Those people who accepted their fates as part of the system, as part of something they couldn't change. Why do these people accept their fates? Because we are told it is our problem. Society and the system is functioning fine. We are told it is us that are defective. Back to work you go for another wellness seminar on how you can cope with your miserable life. But it is the system that is defective. Society that needs changing. A functioning society does not have 20% of its population medicated for depression. It is time we stop blaming ourselves. You are not defective. That is how the economic model needs you to feel. They need you to feel as if it is you that is the problem. So much so that millions on millions are prescribed pills to keep up this illusion of normality. But what do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society who abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get. You get what you deserve. So what happens to society when the 20% of us taking our brain chemical changing medication simply stop? Do we kill ourselves? Never leave the house? No. I believe we wake up to the reality of our situation. It is not us that need altering, it is the system. So if you are as tired as I am tired, if you are as furious as I am furious, as scared as I am scared, then join me. You are not alone any longer. The many should not live in fear of their governments. It is the governments who should live in fear of the many. Remember, the power in people is stronger than the people in power. This cannot be forgotten. We are almost all oppressed in this society, but that doesn't take away that some are much more oppressed than others. But rather than rise up and fight for our liberty, we argue between ourselves about who is more oppressed. You can't stand up for this. Why? Because of that. You are talking from a position of privilege? Who are you to speak for X? Look, we are all selling ourselves. Whether we sell what's between our legs or what's between our ears. There's only one winner, and that is the oppressor. You are not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You are not the car you drive. And you're not the contents of your wallet. You are not your khakis. You are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world. Hence we, the many, who are for the people, put our faith in the people. We fund those willing to fight for our future and reward them with our gratitude, community support, and our trust. The purpose of Cult is to empower and fund those building and contributing towards our decentralized future. Our society is built to make it as difficult as possible to break away from societal, economic, and other norms. We give funding to those who are ready to break the chains and have an idea that can change our world. You can say Cult began when Vasco da Gama sailed around the Cape of Good Hope and discovered the route to India. Or Cult began when in 1526, the first transatlantic slave voyage anchored in Brazil. Yes, the truth is that Cult began and is born of oppression, of meaningless life. The slavery and chains which bind you and every single one of us. Do you really believe that you are free? Then you probably are even more chained than me. I think true freedom comes with the realization and acceptance that you exist as a function and cog in a central bank's ideal economic function. A central bank's primary focus is maximum employment. Yet we are automating jobs so fast that we are creating bullshit jobs just to keep us enslaved. Automation of one's job should mean freedom. Freedom, however, cannot exist under the current economic and financial system. The system is designed to keep us enslaved. We can't break out and live in the woods. Well, not all of us. Our body remains chained, but hey, our heart is now free. So Cult serves to fast forward the collapse of the old financial system and to end the tyranny of sovereign nations and central banks. The current financial system serves to keep the people poor. A society built on debt needs inflation to function, and inflation serves to rob the poor and allow them to never catch up with their overlords in the ruling class. So please do not only talk about Cult, but use it. Every transaction, deposit, and movement of the token allows you to contribute and fast-forward economic and societal change. You can fight from within until you get out. The community is so strong because we believe that together, we can not only take down the current financial, societal, and monetary system, but together we can do anything. I'm inviting you to use this public good, because that's what Cult and Cult.DAO is, a public good. It is a utility, and it powers Cult.DAO's decentralized funding mechanism. It is a public good that can be used by anybody to fund, build, and scale anything that contributes to decentralization in a transparent and fair way. Proposals can be from anywhere. VCs, community members, politicians, anarchists, socialists, the right wing. As long as they conform to all or a majority of these three criteria: fight against centralization, further the cause of decentralization, and directly benefit a noble cause. That is the idea. Beneath this mask there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask there is an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. Furthermore, I do leave any decisions open to the community. I offer only my vision and guidance on what I created the protocol to be used for. The rest is up to you now. That's why Cult is different. Our DAO contracts and the token are fully audited. Liquidity is locked for over 260 years. The keys are burnt and the contracts are non-upgradable. There is no control, no human interference whatsoever beyond what has been coded for it to be influenced by, which is votes from its holders. It is different because it cannot be stopped. Not by the community, the developers, the government, regulation, or anybody else. They can destroy the servers, but the code lives on. The investments into decentralized technologies remain. Cult.DAO is beyond emotion, good and evil. It is just being, and it will function forever. The many control the emotion. The protocol just is what it is. Fill, fund, over and over again. What it funds is down to you. Viva la revolución. The time for change was years ago. The time to unite is now. So rise. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable number. Shake your chains to earth like dew which in sleep had fallen on you. We are many. They are few.